Hey guys, Linda here. Come back at you with another video today. Welcome back to the Adore R. Hope everyone's having a fantastic Monday. Today I'm gonna share with you books that I really enjoyed. These are my high 4.5, 5-star reads. These are those books that you be doing something, a scene or something will come to you, and you'll think of that book and you make you want to go reread. These are all my rereads. I done read these books about 4 or 5 times. I done bought them about 4 or 5 times because I keep buying copies of them. And when I see them in a used bookstore, I don't leave them in there. I'm like, this book was fan-freaking-tastic. I'm going to buy this. I'm not leaving you up in this bookstore. So I got about 4 or 5 copies so I can read one and keep reading it over and over until it about tear up. Then I have another copy. So I got these copies. I got about 4 or 5 copies of these books. So let's get started. First up, I have Crescendo by Charlotte Lamb. I really enjoyed this book. This is on I think the male is a pianist. Now, hopefully I can remember some of these synopses. I probably will because, like I said, I really enjoyed these books and I hardly ever forget them. So I'll try to remember. I don't remember their name, but I remember what happened. Because in this one, the male is a pianist. And we got some amnesia going on because the female in here has lost her memory. And she's living with her grandfather. And then this strange man shows up at the house. And she finds out that her grandfather, because her grandfather teaches piano. And she also knows how to play the piano. She could be a fantastic piano player. But she gets so nervous she don't want to be on stage. But she's an excellent piano player too. And this guy come here and she don't know him. Well, she thinks she don't know him. So this is a twist going on in this one. So he shows up at her home with her grandfather, and she kind of noticed some kind of tension between her grandfather and this man. Yeah, what could it be? I was totally surprised. It was a big twist in here. I was like, Charlotte Lamb really did the darn thing with this book. I really enjoyed this. I'm not going to go any further because if you want to read it, I would like for you to read it and you will see what is going on with the 2 main characters in here. And I liked it because you don't hardly ever see an occupation where the male character is a pianist or the female is a pianist and that's their occupation. I read that was another thing that turned me on to this book. I really liked that because it was a different occupation for the guy. He wasn't no billionaire, but he was rich because he was a famous pianist. So this is Crescendo by Charlotte Lamb. Highly recommend that. Next I have, and this was a Harlequin present. Let me see when this was published. 1981. Yeah, I got about 3 or 4 copies of this because every time I see it, or I go on Threadbook or eBay and see there's a copy on there, yeah. Next I have Duncans Bride by Linda Howard. Really enjoyed this one. This is going to be like a mail order bride because Duncan, he puts in a I think he goes in, I don't know if it's in a magazine, but he puts an ad for a mail order bride, and the female in here sees it, and I don't know if she's having a hard time at her job. I don't know what's going on, or is she a reporter and she's trying to get, I think she want to report on this. I think she's a reporter. I can't remember, but anyway, she ends up answering his request in where he put in a request in the newspaper or something, and she ends up reading it and she answered it, and he invites her. I think he has a farm. He invites her to the farm and she goes there and they end up falling for each other. But I think he finds out why she's really there, and I think they're gonna have a breakup. I kind of remember that they have a breakup or something going on with that. But I really enjoyed this book. I got about 2 copies of this. This is Duncans Bride by Linda Howard. And Linda Howard is a favorite. She used to be an automatic buy for me. Anything with Linda Howard on it, and when she wrote it for Silhouette, I had all her books for Silhouette. And I used to get these in the mail too. I used to get all of Silhouette. I like Silhouette better than I like Harlequin. Because Silhouette, I had all of Silhouette books. I used to get them in the mail, so I had quite a few of Linda Howard's. I got quite a few of her Silhouette romances here, and she was a favorite. She was a favorite author of mine because then she started writing. Romantic suspense. Now she do romantic suspense. I like some of her romantic suspense, but I like reading romantic suspense, but some of hers, they're okay. So I've enjoyed. I bought a couple, and some of them, it was a hit or miss for me with her silhouette. Uh, Not her silhouette, but her romantic suspense. It usually be a hit or miss. But her, so when she wrote for silhouette, yep, I had all of those. Linda Howard, highly recommend if you want to read some of her old romances. She used to write for silhouette. This is Silhouette Intimate Moment. I think she mostly wrote for Silhouette Intimate Moment. And usually her book would have some suspense in it, but I don't think this one did. I think this was just on the couple, a contemporary romance. Linda Howard. Next, I have Barbara Faith. She's another favorite author I read. I didn't read a whole bunch of it because she was like a hit or miss for me with her books, but I really enjoyed this one. I highly recommend this. This is a Heather on the Hill, and I really enjoyed this one because this was like an international romance because the female was from America and the male, he was from overseas. I think he was in Ireland or something. I don't know, but she ends up going over there because she's in she's an actress in the stage theater. Whoever she worked for, they're putting on a play and they're traveling overseas, and she goes with them to the play, and she ends up meeting this guy on what it said, Heather on the Hill. In the Heathers on the Hill, she ends up meeting him. I think she goes out walking and ends up meeting this guy. And they end up falling up. And I think I mentioned that I like when the characters fall in love and they get married before the story ends. So they get married before this story ends. And their issue is going to be because she has a son. And let's just say her son is not going to like coming over to Europe. And yeah, it's going to be some contingent going on between. That's going to be their issue, is her son is having a hard time adjusting. But I really, highly, and really enjoyed this. Yeah, I'm always so highly and really. I highly recommend this. I really enjoyed it. There you go. And this is Heather on the Hill with Barbara Faith, and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it was an international romance going. Can I read more books with international romance? Because you can get a lot of contingent out of it because somebody gonna have to give up something to move where the other person is. Yes, highly recommend. Barbara Faith, Heather on the Hill, Silhouette Special Edition. And let me see when this was published. This was published in 1989. And let me see when Duncans Bride was published. This was 1990. Next, I have another Silhouette Special Edition. This is by Janet Daly. I'm sure everybody knows who Janet Daly is, and she wrote for Silhouette. This is Leftover Love. Really enjoyed this. This is going to be on the female. She trying to find out who her mother is, and she finds out who she is, and she goes to her mother is on a ranch, and she goes there, but she don't tell her the lady who she is, but she goes there to check everything out and check her mother out, and this guy also works on the ranch. I think he's the foreman. He figure out what she ends up telling him what's going on, and yeah, he ain't feeling it. So, and he already grumpy sunshine. Yes, this is a grumpy sunshine. He's already grumpy, and they kind of have a back and forth because he wants her to go ahead and tell the lady who owns the ranch that she's her daughter, and let her know instead of sneaking around there and finding out everything and not telling anybody anything. So I really enjoyed this, Leftover Love by Janet Daly. Some of you might not like him because he's a rough character. Yeah. But I still enjoyed this. Leftover Love by Janet Daly, Silhouette Special Edition. I've been trying to find, this one is hard to find. I've been trying to find copies of this. I think I found one copy, so I have 2 copies of it, but I've been trying to find copies of this because I love this book. Leftover Love by Janet Daly. Next, I have Phyllis Halderson. I hope I pronounced that last name right. This is the Showgirl and the Professor. The Showgirl and the Professor. This is also a Silhouette Special Edition. The Silhouette Special Edition. We're doing the darn thing because I liked all of them. And this is on a professor. It tell you what it's about. He gonna fall in love with a showgirl, but he don't know she's a showgirl because when he meets her, she's in his class. She's taking a class. He's substitute teaching for someone. and she's in the class, and she shows up in his class, and yes, let's just say he kind of fall for her because they keep running into each other because she's late for class, and she ran into him, knocked his papers out of his hand, I think, and it goes from there. Because the only thing drawback for this was that no communication. They were always falling out about something, and this is another one where they end up getting married before the story is over. But it was just a lot of drama going back. Yeah, if you read this, it might not be for you because it was a lot of drama going on between them. Her being a showgirl, and he come from a upper class family. I think his parents are rich, and he's very smart. I think he graduated college early and stuff like that because he's a young professor. Because everybody wanted to look at this young professor, and but that's the only thing that got on my nerve. And like, can y'all talk to each other? Please. Can y'all get it together? I was like, did y'all have a discussion before? Falling out over the same thing, and you made up and then fall back over the same thing? Yeah. But other than that, I still really enjoyed it. It was more good that I liked in this book than that was going on. But yeah. That's the only thing that was messed up out there. But I still highly recommend it. I really, really enjoyed it. The Showgirl and the Professor by Phyllis Halderson, Silhouette Special Edition. All right, I think that's all my Silhouette. Now getting into some Regency historicals. This is by Emma Jensen, Moonlit. Really, really enjoyed this. I got about 2 or 3 copies of this because like I said, every time I see this, I pick it up. And this is like brand new because mine's not brand new because I done read this book about 3 or 4 times. I don't know what's about this book. This is in a series. Let me see. I think I had my paper over here. I thought I printed something out. Hold on just a minute. Let me get my paper. Here it is, because I think some of these are in a series. Is this in a series? Yeah, Moonlit. This is Emma Jensen. This is book number 3 in the 10 series. I think it's 3 books in the series. I think I got the other 2 books. I can't remember. But when I read this and I really enjoyed it, I went and bought the other 2 books. I think I got the other 2 books, or at least I got one. I know I got one of them, but I think I bought the other 2. But I really, really enjoyed this one. I don't think I've read the other 2. I got to go back and read those. But I highly recommend this one. This is going to be like it's like a romantic suspense because the guy in here, he's a spy. I think all of these guys in this series are going to be a spy. And he ends up going to this place, and he meets this female who, I think the places where if you want to get a rich man, where mistresses go, and he ends up there, and she ends up there, and he thinks she is looking for a new patron to take care of her and stuff like that. But he don't have that kind of money. But he falls first because he falls for her, and I like this because she wasn't a female she wasn't interested. No, she was on a mission. She came to town for a mission, and she was on a mission. She didn't have time to be fooling around with no man. She was like, no, yeah. And then mistaken identity because he thinks she's a lady of the night, looking for a man to take care of her because she used to work for a duke, but people thought she was his mistress, but she wasn't. He had another mistress, and that's who the female in here gonna come to town, and she's gonna stay with the duke's mistress. But everybody thought she was his mistress, but she was just there taking care of him because he had got sick, and she was there to take care of him and stuff like that. So everybody got a misunderstanding of what she was doing, and the hero in here, he gets the misunderstanding, and she lets him keep on believing it till she finally tell him the truth. But she lets him keep believing that, and because she was like, I don't want to be bothered. That's what I really liked about this, because I like that she was a strong character and she didn't give in right away to him. Yeah, it wasn't none of that going on. She was like, nope. He had to work for it. I put it like that. But she finally, because she talked to the lady that was the Duke's mistress, because she was telling her, you ought to go ahead because you're going to need somebody to help take care of you. Why don't you go ahead and give him a chance? But she finally gave in, but it was a while before she gave in, and I like that about this book. That's what I mostly like about this, and I really enjoyed the male character too. I liked him too. He had some daddy issues going on. But anyway, that's enough on that. If you want to read it, check it out. This is Moonlit by Emma Jensen. Really, really enjoyed this. Next, I have Joe Goodman, A Season to Be Sinful. I think I mentioned this on my in one of my videos before. This was a reread. Yeah, like I said, I reread all these books. I reread this again. I really enjoy it. It's 3 kids in here. They made this book for me, the 3 kids in here. But this is going to be because they're pickpockets, and they're going to be out on the street trying to pickpocket from this guy. And the female in here, she's on hard time too, but she been trying to help they call them street urchins. She been trying to help the 3 kids, and because she lives in I think she's living in a tavern, and she knows these 3 children. She find out that some man has sent them to rob somebody, and she goes out there to try to stop them. And she ends up getting hurt, and these 3 little mischievous kids, they go and find the guy that they were trying to rob and said that she got hurt because she was trying to protect him, and that he need to come and take care of her because now she's sick and she got stabbed, and you need to come and see about her. So he ends up going to this tavern and finding the lady there, and he ends up helping. So you can say this is found family. If you like found family, this is it, because he takes care of her and he takes those 3 kids. And I really, really enjoyed this. And he ends up falling for her. But she got a lot of baggage going on. Some dangerous baggage going on. And because she's trying to stay undercover. She don't want nobody to find out who she is. But she ends up going to this place, and they end up getting together. But he keeps having to trying to find out about her, because she don't want to tell him, but she ends up telling him. And I really, really enjoyed this. The 3 kids in here made it interesting for me. I was wondering, did Joe Goodman do 3 books on these 3 kids that's up in here? But I've always looked for it, but I've never seen anything where she did any other books on these 3 kids. But I really enjoyed the kids in here. They were funny. This is Joe Goodman, A Season to Be Sinful. And then I also have Sabrina Jeffries. I think I mentioned Sabrina Jeffries, that I'm a big fan of hers. I'm trying to, let me see what book this was. I forgot to mention that. A Season to Be Sinful. This is book number 1 in the Lady Riverdale's connection. Book number 1. I haven't read any other books in the series. Because like I mentioned before, some of these books, when they originally wrote them, I don't think they was putting them in a series. It just was like, the books were just on the same, in the set in the same era, and you might see some of the other characters from that book, but they never mentioned that they were in a series. Now all of a sudden, all these books are in a series, because I don't think this was in a series. But she said they got it on Amazon as book number 1, Lady Riverdale's Connection. Yeah, do that sound like a series? Lady Riverdale Connection. Okay. And next I have Sabrina Jeffries. This is book number 1 in her School of Heiresses series. I think I mentioned I'm trying to read all the books in this series. I don't know how many, maybe about 5 or 6 in this series. I'm trying to read this series, and this is book 1. This is my favorite so far. I think I read book 2. It was okay, but this book number 1 is still my favorite. And they also have a Step Back. And this is Never Seduce a Scoundrel. This is going to be international too, because the male in here, he's in the military, and he's from America. And he comes over to England. He's supposed to be undercover. He's coming over there to find out some dirt on, I think, one of her family members. But they meet at I think they meet at a dance or something, and she kind of fall for him. And another grumpy sunshine, where she fall for him because she's sunshiny and he's grumpy because he's on a mission. He don't want to get involved, but yeah, he ends up falling for her. And let's just say they're falling out. They don't really break up or anything, but she get mad at him because she find out what he came to England for, and it's something dealing with her family. So I highly, highly recommend this. This is Sabrina Jeffries, Never Seduce a Scoundrel, and this is book number 1 in the School of Heiresses series. And next I have A Heart of Blood and Ash. This is by Milla Vane. This is book number 1 in her Gatherings of Dragon series. This is book number 1. This is the only book I've read in the series so far. I think I have book number 2. And I don't think she's written book number 3 yet. I don't think so. But I've read this one. I really, really enjoyed this. This is like a fantasy romance with some little paranormal stuff going on, I think. This is going to be on... this is a revenge, because he's the male character in here is out for revenge. And when he ends up finding out that he has the princess, I think she's a princess, or I think she's a princess. He ends up finding out that he has her in his clutches, and he want to use her as revenge because he thinks she did something to his parents, because his parents ends up getting killed, and he thinks it's all her fault. So let's just say this is a revenge turned to love. Yeah, because he's gonna end up falling for her. Yeah. And this is A Heart of Blood and Ashes. I really, really enjoyed this by Milla Vane. Highly, highly recommend this. This is book 1 in the A Gathering of Dragons series. Next, I have Elizabeth Kingston, The King's Man. This is a book that has been on my mind for a while. I keep thinking about it because it's something happening here, because the female in here, she's a swordsman. She's very good with a sword, and she ends up fighting the hero in a sword fight and ends up winning. And that scene keep coming to my mind and make me want to read this. So I'm gonna reread. This is gonna be I'm gonna add this to my TBR and reread it. Yeah, because this has been on my mind. Every once in a while I keep thinking about this book. I'm like, I got to go find it and read it. I never did go find it, but when I decided to do this video and I pulled it out, I'm gonna go back and reread this. This is a historical. This is on he is what was he? I forgot what he was doing, but he ends up getting captured by her because she has her own I guess her father didn't have a son or something, but so she done took over the business, and she's running things there, and she's leading these men. I think the king think that they're going to be an uprising, because I think her, where she's from is in Ireland somewhere or something like that, because you know Ireland and England always had a contentions going on, tension between them. And I think they think they're going to have an uprising, and he shows up. I don't know, I forgot what he showed up for, but they end up capturing him, and him and her end up in a fight, and she ends up winning, and they take him as a captive. But then they end up falling for each other. Yes. And this is another one where they get married before the story is over with, but they still gonna have some contention going on, because her mother, her mother don't like that. Her mother's not having it. Let's just say her mother, I think he's from England, but her mother don't, she don't want to get involved. She want to start a war. So she gonna have to, the female in here gonna have to choose her husband or her mother. Yeah. There's a lot going on in here. I really, really enjoyed it. This is Elizabeth Kingston, The King's Man. Really, really enjoyed this. Next, I have, it's a historical. Next, I have Looked Apart. This is by Jewel E. Ann. Really, really enjoyed this one. This is on, I think the female in here, she teaches, I forgot what they call it, but she's like a music teacher. Kind of, and she uses the music for therapy. I forgot what it is, but she gonna end up renting, because the guy in here, he's a lawyer. I think he's a lawyer, and he owns a building, and he's renting out some. He owns the whole building, and he's renting out other offices, and she's gonna end up renting one of the offices. But like I said, she's kind of like she uses music for therapy, and she's gonna be keeping up a lot of noise with her with her music and stuff, and then they're gonna get into it. And another grumpy sunshine, because he when they start off, you're gonna find out that he loses his wife in an accident. He's gonna say it all his fault, because I think he was kind of drinking when they had an accident, and he's gonna lose his wife. And he has a son in here, and I think his son is gonna start going to see her, or he's gonna go downstairs and talk to her, and she's gonna start helping him, because I think he's I can't think of what he has something. I can't think of what it is now, but she's going to help him, and that's how they're going to meet. And I really enjoyed this. I highly recommend this. This is looked apart because, like I said, he got some drama going on with him still carrying some stuff from when his wife got killed in a car accident. And this is looked apart by Jewel E. Ann. Highly recommend this. Next I have a Master of Crows. This is book 1 in the Master of Crows, I think. Let me see here. Yeah, this is the book 1 in the world of Master of Crows. It says book 1, but this is the only book I've ever seen. I haven't seen any other books. I don't know if she wrote anything after this one, but it says book 1. But I really enjoyed this. This is kind of like a fantasy, paranormal, and you got her going to I don't know where she's working at or something, but they're going to send her to this magician because they want her to spy on him, and he knows that she's coming there to spy. So when she come there to work for him, he's supposed to be training her and stuff like that, but she's supposed to be spying on him, but she ain't gonna be able to do it because she gonna start falling for him, and he gonna fall for her. He is another Grumpy Sunshine. If you like them Grumpy Sunshine, this is another one, Master of Crows. I really enjoyed this. It's got a lot going on in the world. Some evil thing is trying to take over the world, and the guy in here is going to have to try to stop it, and she's going to be trying to help him to stop whatever is coming to try to take over the world. And this is Master of Crows by Grace Draven. I'm a big fan of Grace Draven. There you go, Master of Crows. I done bought 2 of these. Yeah, I bought an extra one. Really enjoyed this. I also got an extra one of this one too. Like I said, I done bought about 2 or 3 copies of these books. Yeah, I'm doing the most. I got another book by Grace Draven. This is Radiance. This is in a 2-book. This is gonna be, I don't know how many books are gonna be in this series, but this is book number 1 in the Wrath King series, and also book number 2 is gonna be on the same couple, and book number 3 is on a different couple. So, but I've only read book 1 and book 2. But this was my favorite. I rated book 2 a 4-star, but this was like a 4.5, high 4.5, 5-star. Really enjoyed this. And this, like I said, this is another fantasy. You got 2 different the 2 main characters. They're from different races because she's a human race and he's from the I guess the Wrath race. I forgot what his race is called. And when they first meet, I like this because they became friends first, because when they first meet, their kingdoms had set up a marriage. So you got a marriage of convenience because they've been set up to be married, because he's like the second son, and I think she's like a cousin of the king or the second daughter or something like that, and they've been set up to be married. So when they meet in the garden. They don't know that they're supposed to marry each other, but they meet in a garden and run into each other in the garden, and they start talking, and they have good communication between each other. They get along. They're getting along really good, and they're talking, and then they end up finding that they're supposed to marry each other. So they become great friends. So this is a friends to lovers, marriage of convenience for their parents, because like I said, they got set up to get married, and it's a friends to lovers. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed their friendship, them falling in love, because they call each other ugly, because like I said, they're marrying outside of their race. So he don't think she's good looking, and she don't think he's good looking, but they end up falling for each other. I really enjoyed this. This is Radiance by Grace Draven. Really highly recommend this. If you like fantasy romances with some little paranormal stuff going on, highly recommend this. This book 1 and book 2, because but I just showed you this one because this was my favorite. Next I have the last 2 books are by T.L. Swan. This is Mr. Spencer by T.L. Swan. She writes some thick books, but I really enjoyed this. We got the playboy who from across the room see this female, and let's just say he's very interested, but his friends tell him no, she's not for you. So anyway, he don't listen. He started pursuing her, but he finds out some stuff about her, and then he was like, I can't do it. He said he's going to leave her alone, but yeah, he ends up going back. So I really, really enjoyed this because her parents are really, really rich, and I forgot. I think he owned his own business. I think he's rich too, and the female is she's been sheltered. She's been sheltered, and she still live on it because her parents have a compound, so she live on the compound, and she falls for Mr. Spencer here. I forgot what he does, but I really, really enjoyed this. They're gonna have a big breakup in here. Yeah, it was a lot going on in this book, but they end up figuring it out. But I really, really enjoy, because he gonna, yeah, like I said, he's a playboy, and she's gonna find out that he did something. Yeah, he messed up. Mr. Spencer by T.L. Swan. I really, really enjoyed this. Highly, highly recommend it. And this is book number, what book is this? This is in a series. What book is this in this series? This is book number 2 in the Mr. series. I bought book 1 and book 2, but I didn't buy book 3. Book 3 was okay, but I didn't buy it. I think I read that on Kindle, but I didn't buy it. But I did. This is my favorite book out of the Mr. series. And last but not least, I have Junkie by T.L. Swan. Yeah, this guy right here. I don't think a lot of people like him. He's over the top alpha male. but I enjoyed it. Yeah, I got 2 books of this. I got 2 books of this, and I have 2 books. I bought these a couple of times too. Yeah, I was doing the most. But yeah, when I reread these all the time, so I got to have some extra ones that are not going to be bent all up. Yeah. Junkie, this is on, I think this guy right here, he owns a security farm or something like that, and he ends up meeting a female at a gym because he always working out. So he see this female over here working out. Let's just say he become very, very interested. So he starts showing up at the gym when she shows up, and let's just say something happened while they at the gym by themselves. Yeah. And then she started feeling guilty because I think her, because she has a boyfriend, but her boyfriend, she wanted to have a break. So her and her boyfriend are on break from each other. And let's just say, yeah. Yeah. Her and her boyfriend are on break, and things happen. And but that's going to be what's going on here because she don't know what to do because she on a break from her boyfriend, then she ends up falling for this guy. Yeah, it's a lot going on here. Junkie, T.L. Swan, and let's just say he don't be taking no. Yeah. Like I said, alpha male. Yeah, because he pursuing what he want. Junkie by T.L. Swan, and this is not in a series, but I really, really enjoyed this book. So those are all my books. I highly, highly recommend them. Some of you might like, because I like alpha male. So most of these guys, some of them are alpha male, and some of them are over top. But I highly, highly recommend. If you like alpha male and you don't mind reading alpha males, yeah, go for it. I highly, highly recommend all those books. Those are my favorite. Like I said, I done bought those books by 2 or 3 times. Yeah, if I see them somewhere, and if I see them at a, if I see them on Thrift Books or I see them on eBay. Yeah, because I go on eBay and Thrift Books sometime and look for books that I really, really enjoy because I want to purchase them again. Yeah. And if I see them in a used bookstore, if I'm looking in a used bookstore and I see a book that I really love that I've read before and I've reread a couple of times, I usually pick it up. So those are all my favorites. Books that I reread all the time, 3 or 4 times, and I'll purchase 3 or 4 times. I hope you can check them out. And if you've read any, let me know that you enjoy them. How did you feel about them? Did you like them? Did you give them thumbs down, thumbs up? Yeah. That's all I have for now. See y'all guys later. Keep reading those romances. Bye-bye.